This is now going to be chaos. All the hyenas have left. Oh, here comes one. But good luck to this hyena. There must easily be close to 100 vultures on the ground here. We're out this morning and we've decided to come south, and we've been hit with a small little cloudburst of rain, but now we've bumped into the small breeding herd of elephants that are just feeding on, I'm not sure if you can see, but they're picking up slowly, they're picking up marula fruits, which is their favourite this time of the year. The marulas come into season and drop all their fruits, and the ellies absolutely love it. Managed to come across quite a special male leopard known as Tavangumi, and he's got an impala kill hoisted in this knobthorn tree. There's a hyena below him that's busy feeding on the scraps. As he feeds, he's dropping small pieces of meat, and the hyena is just waiting for the opportunity maybe that he'll drop the whole carcass. But Tavangumi is quite experienced, and the more experienced leopards are, the less they tend to drop carcasses unless there's a sticky situation and the tree's uncomfortable. But this one's hoisted quite well, and Tavangumi is now in the tree with his impala carcass. So we're going to hang around here and see what happens. So Tavangumi has now descended the tree and he's on the ground, and he has no concern whatsoever for the hyena that was in the area. He's just grown so much into such a good, strong male leopard, and he's really showing how confident and how strong he's become. So here, leopard sightings in the Manyeleti aren't as common as other reserves. We normally make up for that with our lions, but in the last few weeks we've had quite a few different leopards that have pushed in from the Sabi Sands, like Kara and now Tavangumi, and it really is, there's just something so special about being able to be with a leopard. Don't get me wrong, I love lions and cheetah and wild dog, but a leopard is just one of those, it's like a creature of pure elusiveness, and when you find it you feel like you've found a precious gem or a jewel. So right behind me in the tree here is Tavangumi's kill, and it's not a very comfortable tree for him to lie in, so he's gone onto the ground and he's now flat and he's settled down. I think he's in a bit of an impala lamb coma, but we had a good visual of him. Unfortunately we missed him climbing down the tree due to bad positioning and too big of a lens. I only got his tail and his backside as he descended, and we thought he was going to come down where I'd initially parked, but then he decided no, he's going to go down the other way. And then in that situation there's not much you can do. If you try and race around, you're going to miss the shot anyway and probably disturb the animal. So we just let it be. Unfortunately it was quite a hard one to take, because it would have been quite a spectacular descent from the tree. But hopefully we're going to come back this afternoon and he might still feed a bit on the carcass, otherwise maybe we'll get him mobile, moving around. He might even try hunt something else, because that carcass wasn't a big impala, it was an impala lamb. So we'll have to see what happens with Mr. Tavangumi. So this is very unexpected. We've just been heading back to camp after our incredible sighting with Tavangumi, and if you can see behind me there in the dead tree, there is heaps and heaps of vultures in this area. And a report from one of our guides was that there was a dead elephant carcass here, and it turns out he was right. There is a young elephant that has passed on. We suspect this was one for a while that had a broken leg, and unfortunately nature took its toll, and this elephant has died. And there's now a hyena currently feeding on this elephant. So hopefully, I'm hoping the Mbiris weren't too far from here yesterday. I'm kind of hoping that any lions really, or even more hyenas, get the signs from the sky and make their way in here, because it will be very interesting to see who's going to win and who's going to take control of this carcass. So this is quite cool. This one hyena was behaving kind of strange on the carcass, and now a little youngster has come in. He's not too sure if he wants to come and feed or not, but I think Mum's trying to reassure him that it's okay to come and revel in the spoils. So as you can see, this is quite a young elephant, and this is unfortunately nature. It's not always easy to witness and watch, and it can seem unfair, but this young elephant that has unfortunately been one of the weaker soldiers that has not made it will now provide to other ones like this young hyena in the back. We're waiting in anticipation now, because the hyena and its young cub moved off. So here's a better visual and understanding of the scene of the crime. And as you can see, this very back leg here on the left hand side, you can see actually where the bone has snapped, and indicating that this was a young elephant that had broken its leg and has now suffered from that. Quite a lot has been eaten, but there is also a fair amount left for the scavengers to feed on. This afternoon we decided to come back to the elephant carcass and give Tavangumi a skip, and I think we made the right choice. It is so active here. There are still loads of vultures around, and most of them have now descended on the carcass and are having a roll over who gets position over the carcass. So this morning we've come back to the remains, or what's left of the elephant carcass, and two hyenas have pulled in. We arrived on the scene and there was lots of vultures in the trees, which was already a sign to us that something was on the carcass. But what's even greater concern for us is that this is the area, or close to the area, where we suspect the one Mbiri lioness is denning with her cubs. And we had a brief visual of her yesterday walking past to go into the drainage line. We weren't sure if she was going to bring them here or move them, but we suspect that she's moved them from here. But hopefully it's not long now. The rest of the Berry Pride aren't too far from here, so hopefully in the next few days she's going to introduce them to the pride. You can see now that a very brave black-backed jackal has arrived on the scene. What's really interesting is that I would have thought the Berry Pride would have moved in here last night, even yesterday afternoon, because we saw the Berry Pride last night. We had a brief visual of Nchile. He was drinking water in a small pan next to the road, and I was sure that by this morning they would have been in the area here, because they're not far, as I said. But I'm really hoping that we get to see that lioness and her cub soon. It's been a while, and I know everyone's been on the edge of their seats waiting in anticipation to see the cubs. So as you would have seen throughout the virtual safari, how strong these hyenas' jaws are. They have one of the strongest bite forces and jaws in the animal kingdom, and I'm sure you would have seen by now how they've just ripped this elephant carcass apart with absolute ease. There's been times where they've had to really work at it, but an elephant's skin is so thick and tough, and these guys are sort of just slicing through it like scissors cutting through paper. This is absolutely incredible. The hyenas have just showed a little bit of backing off, and the three became one, and now all the vultures have moved in and they are tucking into this elephant carcass. I don't think there'll be much left this afternoon at this rate, but incredible to see how quickly they work, and they just eat so fast. They have absolutely swarmed this carcass now. The hyenas, I don't even think they're going to try and attempt to chase them off. They're just lying to the one side of the frame. And this carcass has now been swamped with vultures. This is now going to be chaos. All the hyenas have left. Oh, here comes one. The one left for a second and they all just came onto the carcass. Now I see one's come back from the opposite direction. But good luck to this hyena. There must easily be close to 100 vultures on the ground here. I think this one spotted hyena is feeling quite overwhelmed. It's playing tug of war with the leg with a whole swarm of vultures, and it's getting a bit frustrated, as you can see there, and gives out a little whoop every now and again, almost like a cry for help, for others to come and help. But this hyena is outnumbered probably 50 to 100 to 1. So as you can see, the other hyenas that were here were a little bit more tolerant of the vultures. This one is not very tolerant at all. But the vultures just keep coming back.